Okay, everybody, welcome to the Nerd Herd, one-stop shop for all things geek. I'm the awkward agent. With me, as usual, we have the 8-Bit Gamer.
Hey, everybody.
And Lucid Sheets.
How's it going, everybody?
All right. How you two doing tonight?
Very good.
I'm doing quite swell.
Yeah. How about that weather we've been having, you know? Like, I was literally stuck in my building for the entirety of that storm.
Yeah, we got 2 feet of snow at my place.
Yeah, like I could not get the doors open at all. Thank God for my cell phone, because otherwise I would not have had food at all.
Yeah.
All right, if this is your first time tuning into us, the way things work here is each week we come on, we have a new nerd culture topic debate. If you feel like joining us in the debate, or if you have an idea for a show you would like us to do, please log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/nerdherdshow. Good news, we now have our last show up on YouTube, courtesy of 8-Bit. He was nice enough to donate his YouTube channel to us. Thank you very much.
The episode's titled Nerd Herd Episode 1, and the YouTube account is the end of it.
Right. So log on to youtube.com/the end of it. Check out our check out our show, and be sure to check out 8-Bit's stuff as well. All right, so I do believe we are ready to go. Before we get into the main topic this evening, I did want to address a few of our fans on Facebook. We had a rather large handful of suggestions saying that because this is our Valentine's Day episode, or Valentine's Day week episode, rather, we should have a discussion about nerd romance, geeks in love. It was a little bit late to work it into the show, but I think it would be very remiss of us to not at least acknowledge it. So before we actually begin the main topic, what sort of suggestions do the two of you have for all of our lovesick geeks out there that may be listening?
Well, the main thing you should always do is find something that you have a skill at or something you're good at and use that to your advantage. If you know how to program something that will be sweet and romantic. Like, there's people that have made games that are just how they ask out or say something nice to someone, you know. I've created a website for a girl before where it was the world's cutest girl website, just as a cute little flirt thing that I did, and sent her the link, you know.
That's
and
adorable.
It was this like little in-joke too to it that was really cute. And like, I just do stuff like that, and I recommend that you find something you're good at, something you can do, and you use that to your advantage.
That's adorable. I love that. I think I saw someone on YouTube do that with Little Big Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they made an entire Little Big Planet level specifically as a proposal, actually, a wedding proposal.
There was one person that reprogrammed like a Pokemon game, and like, so a person was confused.
Yeah. What about you, Lucid? You look like you have suggestions.
Honestly, I just play Portal and just find the companion cube to hold it to my own. Like, it's my little piece of heaven, because it can't say no, and, you know...
He's actually never beat Portal 1 because he couldn't destroy the cube.
I don't want to! Why would I want to destroy something filled with love?
Oh, boy. I have a few suggestions. The big one is confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself. Don't be afraid to go up to somebody and tell them that you like them, you know? Because I find so many good-hearted people don't find the love of their lives because they're too afraid to ask them. And then someone with confidence that happens to be a total swaggering peacock, and I can't stand those people, ends up getting the girl. And that's, like, teeth-grindingly infuriating to me. The other bit of advice, this is nerd-specific. Try and control your fanboyism/fangirlism, because while it is a nice little way to start a topic, if you gush about something, it may be off-putting. Like, I can imagine someone getting a little creeped out, thinking to himself, my word, does this person do nothing but watch My Little Pony? No diss to the bronies out there, because admittedly, I am one. So, and the third bit of advice I have, two simple words: Dr. Nerdlove. There is a guy online. He goes by the name of Dr. Nerdlove, and he does a blog specifically to help romantically challenged geeks. And it's hilarious. It's amazing, and he's doing blessed work. So that's our little thing for Valentine's Day. We're going to get into the main topic now, where we're going to talk about online gaming. Specifically, we're going to get into online multiplayer in gaming. You guys, can you recall like the first online gaming experience that you've ever had?
Yeah, I've had quite a few experiences. My introduction into it was pretty slow compared to some people probably, because I got interested in gaming pretty young to begin with. And so like I started off with playing single player games mostly and really enjoyed that. Then I started doing just multiplayer with friends. But then when I was looking for the new system to get, I was trying to choose between the PS2 and GameCube. And one of the main attractors for me was the PS2 having the online, and I saw games like SOCOM and was really excited for it. So I went to this LAN party place. If you don't know what that is, it's where they actually network all the systems together so you can play in one location.
Yep.
And like it was a great fun. It's much better than online multiplayer, which we'll get into that later. But the thing is that I went on to play SOCOM and nobody was talking. It was pretty dead silent on the radio, and I'm like trying to talk to people. I'm like, hey, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I haven't played this. Like nobody was saying anything. And then we played through like 3 levels and nobody still is talking. And then all of a sudden someone goes, hey, don't go over there. There's mines. And then I blow up. And I'm like, I'm done. Not playing this. And I got the GameCube.
You're a little late there, Charlie.
Well, okay, for me, I was already advent into gaming, but my thing was shooters. So my first actual live experience was Halo 3. And when I got to play, first I saw my friends play it, because I never had live at first. But then when I saw them play, I'm like, wow, look at this aggression, the testosterone, the adrenaline, like all of this going at the same time. I'm like, I wonder if I'll be like that. So when I finally sat down and played with my friends, I was super addicted. My first console game was for like Halo 3, and I still play live all the time. I play on my Xbox right now for Halo 4. Like it's just so adrenaline filled, because it's like it can go either way. You either win or you lose. And for me, I just love the challenge because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm good at something.
Yeah.
And my first time, and then I tried, because I felt like I would be bad of an online gamer if I didn't try computer gaming, because, why not do something that's already been built for that specific purpose? So when I did computer gaming, first game was League of Legends. Oh my goodness, that was fun.
Yeah.
So much challenging and
my first experience doing online multiplayer, it was a friend of mine, Holly. We're really close, to the point where we refer to each other as siblings. Which, if she's listening, hello, little big sister. But she got me into World of Warcraft, and that was pretty much my introduction into MMOs and online gaming. I had to quit that, though, because I really just couldn't justify paying that much money every single month.
It's definitely quite a big price.
Yeah, but these days I've resigned myself to stay with Team Fortress 2 for the most part.
Well, since I told you about my negative experience, I'll tell you about my more positive experience that happened later on.
Yeah.
I eventually played Halo Online for the computer version, and that was so much better than a lot of the other games, because Halo 1 actually has a really good multiplayer.
Yep.
But it was just that the Xbox didn't have online at the time. And then the really, really positive online shooter game that I played was Fear. And the first Fear had the most amazing mod community. Like, they made some really cool and interesting levels I loved playing, and I got really good at that. And then I started playing RuneScape, which is like the poor man's version of WoW.
Yep.
And I think that's still a lot of fun. A lot of people knock it as not being as good, but I think it has a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah. Well, we talked about our positive and negative experiences. So obviously, we've admitted that there are some issues with online gaming that still need to be fixed. So let's delve deeper into that. What sort of major problems do you see in online gaming interactions, and how would you fix them?
Well, one of the major issues I have is not as much with the interactions, it's with what they do to make it. A lot of games that use multiplayer completely drop story, and their multiplayer has no story. And I am a very invested person in the fantasy worlds. I love having a story. It's why I read a lot of books and watch a lot of movies. So having a game lose that because they just wanted to have multiplayer makes me against it.
Yeah, so you're very story-driven.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Lucid? What sort of problems have you experienced with online?
For online play, I mean, not much, because, I went in knowing that there's going to be aggressive people. There are going to be people better than me, and, I'm going to have to face that. I mean, I can't have much aggression. The only time I feel aggravated towards somebody in a game is just poor cooperation skills. I mean, it can be the lack of knowing how to play, or it's somebody who's just being a little troll and they just want to just ruin your day. And that's the only thing that kind of ruins my online play. But other than that, I go in face value expecting there's going to be horrible players. There's going to be people out there going to try to crush me and destroy me in front of hundreds of other people, and I just have to sit back and accept it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned trolls, because that's kind of where I was going to go with this one. And I warn you both, there's a good chance that this is going to be filed under the hashtag Nerd Rage label, like right off the bat, because my major problem with gaming online is I deal with so many people in the community that don't know how to act like a civilized human being when they're gaming. And I'm sure you've experienced it. The kind of people where every other word is a profanity or a homophobic slur or a racial slur, and they do it because they think it makes them big and tough. Yeah, and there really is no better way to get me like raging angry than to do that sort of stuff to me. And it's weird because, like, every time I try to be polite and bring it up in conversation, ask them, hey, can you stop doing that? I always get the same two responses from them. One response is, excuse me. Yeah, the first response that I typically get is along the lines of, oh, well, don't be so politically correct. Don't be so prudish. Well, it's not political correctness. It's just common courtesy. You don't talk like that in front of people, and you're not being some you're not doing some radical act by using those words. You're not taking away the negative meaning. Like I have always been the kind of person who promotes that there are no bad words. There are just bad thoughts and ideas that we attach to the words that we use. But that being said, you're using these words in the negative context, so you're not doing anything to depower them. So your argument is immediately invalidated.
Yeah, whenever I get actually irritated at something like that, and like I joke around with it and say like "son of a refrigerator," like throwing some random words like buttermilk biscuit, and just make people chuckle a little bit. But then it's only like when like I like stub my toe, if anything, that I'll actually swear, and that's just it slips out,
Right. Well, the other justification that I hear all the time is that, oh, well, dude, this is like the only place where it's okay to talk like that. And therein lies the problem. It's not okay to talk like that. It's not okay to be like throwing curses around this in the same manner as a person would breathe. It's not okay to use racial and homophobic slurs as verbal artillery. It's not okay to use the word rape as a synonym for defeat. And it's definitely not okay that I have to take time out of our show to explain that to other people because apparently they did not get the memo.
Yeah, it's why I don't play many games that have like the open mic systems for their multiplayer, because really I very rarely hear anything that interesting that well out of it.
Well, personally, like, sometimes I'm gonna probably be that guy on the other side because like, yes, I don't agree with a lot of the things that are said, but it's just like when I'm in the competitive fields and we're all playing for the same game and you just gotta have a bunch of people just so pumped up everywhere, like we're gonna say whatever we have just to get the aggression out. And I know it's not always right. I will admit it. I know it's not always right. I'm one of those people that gets aggravated real easily in games, but it's like we're in a world where like some people are just desensitized to the using of words, and that's how it comes out. And sometimes it's the only way we can really put it out. I'm not saying it's right. I can't condone it being good and right. It just really happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's really the perfect word to describe it, is that we have been desensitized, and we don't realize that words have meanings. But it always irked me, and I can't break myself of that ever. But yeah, so obviously we've addressed the problems. How would you recommend going about fixing the problems?
Well, there's not much we can really do for censoring people because people will be people, and like it's not much room. So like we just have to choose whether we're going to listen to it or not. And I think that as long as we don't focus too much on it, I think people will eventually mature as the market matures more, because it's just that right now there's a lot of people that think that's what's cool.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, the only way that I think is like, because I see Microsoft and Xbox, they do come up with steps. Like when I go to Halo Reach or I go to Halo 4, they give you those lists of options of like, what are the ideal players you want to play with? Do you want to play with people without mics, or do you want to play with people who are recommended by other players, or do you just want to have an open forum frenzy? So there are ways of avoiding it. There is ways. I mean, if you don't really mind who you talk to, who you listen to, who you play with, then, that's up to your own devices for that. And, whether it's a good or bad experience, it also comes back to you because you decided to go into that specific nature. Not saying all people on, like, Xbox or on Live are just horrible human beings.
No, of course not.
It's just, you have to kind of expect everything face value. It's like, do I really want to take that chance to go into an open forum where there can be super nice people or, like, the most raunchiest human substance in the world?
Yeah, unfortunately, the anonymity, the anonymous nature of the internet and the web is sort of open license for the very worst of humanity to just get away with whatever they want. But my suggestion for how to fix that particular problem, I would rework the like the voice chat thing. I would include a system like work like a camera, like a webcam into it that turns on whenever you talk. That way you can see a human face, because I'm totally a geek when it comes to psychology and social interaction, and I've noticed that people tend to like check themselves a little bit more. Like they tend to calm down and be rational when they're interacting with a physical human being, as opposed to a digital avatar that's like a proxy. So maybe if they actually see a human face and they work with that, they'd be less inclined to make fools of themselves. Yeah.
It might work, or it might not affect them at all. I mean, there are people out there, like, I agree, like, if you get, like, those little 12-year-old kids swearing up and down, like, swearing everywhere, I don't expect to see them on, like, an actual video chat because they're afraid mommy in the next room is just gonna, like, see them on YouTube one day.
Right.
And, but some people just don't really care because the things that they use online is their personality, and sometimes it's unaffected, but I understand where you're coming through with that, and like it might be a positive thing to use. Some people might change if they're being seen by all the other players, but it can go back or forth. It has its pluses and minuses.
Absolutely. We got a message on Facebook from our one of our managers on the radio telling us we had a great topic. So thank you very much. We love getting criticism from our listeners. We do. So let's get to the last question that I have here on the list. Online multiplayer versus local multiplayer. Given the choice between the two, which would you prefer?
Well, like I said, first started off with being at a LAN party place. Like it's an amazing experience. Like if you can find one, go there. I went to a place called Mr. B's LAN party, and oh my god, it was so much fun. Like they had these 42-inch or 52-inch screens set up like all around the place. So there'd be two back to back on each side. So we were playing like Halo 1 multiplayer, and it was 16 people, and like then you'd have that crazy fight. Instead of like being like, oh, I hate the whatever username, you'd be like, all right, who over there keeps shooting me, sniping me from over there? I hate you. It's just like a lot more fun interaction because that person's actually right there, and then you can go buy them a slice of pizza at the end of the game, and be like, that was a great job, man, and it makes it a much more community driven situation, and I loved it. And in fact, when Halo 2 came out, people only played that for a little while. Then they switched back to Halo 1 because Halo 1 had a superior game. It's just it didn't have that online.
Right.
And for me, I'm a kind of split between the two because, yes, I love playing with friends, local player. I love having that feel of sitting next to my friends and, yelling and screaming at them and having fun with them and, like, spurting all kinds of hate towards each other and having fun with it. But I also love the anonymity of having like playing online with my own like as myself because I feel like I play more serious and I like to play like as a serious character. I like to play as a serious person when I'm playing, and the only other time I do that with friends is with my gaming group that I have, and we're our own tight little group, but the only ones that really would play together as as a team, and that's the only time I ever really play with any other people.
Yeah, I'm sort of have the same sort of problem you do, Lucid. On one hand, yeah, online multiplayer, it's really convenient. I don't have to hunt down all of my friends to play a game. I can just see if they're online already, and I can join other games with other people. It has the potential to be like a great networking device, a great social device. On the other hand, for me, nothing really compares to actually physically being there with friends, being able to joke and poke them in the ribs every now and again. It like you said, 8-Bit, it really is a completely different experience when you're there with physical people. Mm-hmm. It adds a lot to the experience, I like to think. All right, so we've reached about the halfway point for our show this evening, and I believe it's about time for our music break, courtesy of 8-Bit Gamer. And what do you have for us this evening?
So in the thought of Valentine's Day, I've picked up some more nerd love music. And so first is the song, If You're Wondering, I Want You To by Weezer. And they're a great band, and the song's a great message is that you don't wait for someone else to make the move, make it yourself. Because like the song title I just said is, if you're wondering if I want you to, so make your move, because we haven't got all night.
Oh, that is awesome. I really do like Weezer. Little hipster-ish of me, I realize, but I do like Weezer.
Yep.
All right, so here is Weezer. Please enjoy our music break.
So that was Don't Unplug Me by All Caps first, and then it was Digital Love by Daft Punk. Both great bands, and you should look them up.
Yeah, I am such a Daft Punk geek. Like, I really need to find a copy of Tron Legacy just so I can listen to the music.
Yeah, it was cool that they did that.
Yeah. All right, well, we've reached that point in the show where we're going to take a look at some weird news, and I'm going to try and saw my co-host brains in half with concentrated WTF. I usually spend all day looking for news stories just before the show. This first story that we have here comes to us from Pennsylvania. I actually debated having this story on the show because it made me wince. It's that bad, and I'm going to warn you guys, really bad. Also forgot, the first two stories that we're going to do are Valentine's related.
Okay.
Yeah. This one made me wince really bad, but I included it on here as a public service. Yeah. Have Have you ever had, like, a really crazy ex that, like, would not leave you alone?
Yeah.
You have? Yeah. I've had a couple as well. I won't go into details, but I will say this much. It does not compare to this guy. I hate this guy so much, and I hope he suffers. Flint Andrew Statton allegedly stalks wife Ann Statton carrying guns, machete, and a Valentine's Day card. Yeah. Just no. I hate this guy so much. A Pennsylvania man was allegedly wearing body armor, carrying a machete, a gun, brass knuckles, and a Valentine's Day card while stalking his estranged wife, police say. Police say they pulled over Flint Andrew Statton after noticing him following Ann Statton in his car on her way to work, the Morning Call reported. Flint Statton, age 30, also allegedly had knives, ammunition, cable restraints, wigs, a mask, duct tape, a Kevlar military helmet, a handgun shoulder harness, binoculars, and arrowheads in the sedan at the time. According to the Express Times, Statton, a resident of Perkiomenville, had been court-ordered to stay away from his wife after she filed 2 protection from abuse orders against him. He is also not permitted to have weapons. On January 31st, Ann Statton reported that she thought her husband had been following her to work, and police issued a warrant for his arrest. The Valentine's Day card titled "A Promise for My Wife" was accompanied by 39, quote, pieces of paper depicting various forms of violence and killing, according to an arrest report obtained by the Express Times. Based on the totality of the circumstances, this wasn't a casual following, Sergeant Timothy Holtz told the Morning Call. He added, "I think he's dangerous." You don't say, sir. My word.
I give up.
Yeah, that's one of those I don't want to live on this planet anymore things.
Mm-hmm.
God, that is concentrated bat dung, gonzo acorns, bloody who, insane in the membrane. And like I said, I put this on the show as a public service. Folks, if you're going to pursue a relationship, get to know people first. That's my big advice. Take some time to get to know them. I've rushed into relationships before, and it ended with me being with some really far out people, like none as bad as this, but just imagine. Like,
no, I just
I know, right?
like the whole time you were listing everything off, it's just like
It's scary.
it's scary, but it's like, what are you doing? Where is the faith in humanity gone?
All right, so let's make ourselves feel better, shall we?
Please?
Yes. This next one, it's another Valentine's-related one. And I respect that there are a lot of services out there to help you find a significant other. I respect that. I'm not sure how to feel about this one. No date for Valentine's Day? New apps may help. Singles who believe in love at first sight can turn to new apps that will match them with potential dates in time for Valentine's Day, but only if each person has expressed an interest. With the new dating apps, users simply flip through photos of people in nearby locations and express their interest in dating someone. If there is mutual attraction, the app connects them for a conversation. If not, their feelings remain anonymous. It limits the conversation to people you have actually expressed interest in, so each of those conversations starts at a very deep level, said Sean Rad, co-founder and CEO of the Los Angeles-based company Tinder, which developed the app of the same name. Makers of the Tinder app, which is available worldwide for iPhone, said it has matched more than 10 million couples since it was launched in September. The app pulls in member photos of people from Facebook, and then it's as simple as anonymously indicating interest in that person. If both people like each other, messages can be sent between the two users. Rad said that most of the users are between 18 and 30 years old. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I really don't like the whole idea of snap judgments in a relationship.
Well,
You go.
we live in a society where nowadays, we usually take stuff by face value. Like, that's how we judge things. And, it sounds bad, and, it sounds like it's a horrible thing, but it's true. A lot of times it's like, sometimes some people aren't looking for the personality. They're like, oh, that person looks super attractive.
Yeah.
I bet, I have a sure chance at that. And, that's what it's kind of insinuating. Like, it's not a bad idea. It's just, that's kind of how it works nowadays.
And the thing is that people already do that. They're going to make those judgments, and whether you give them the option to or not, they're going to make that judgment before they send a message on a site. So just giving the people that are going to do that anyways a way to do that, so that they're not gumming up the system on other places that don't do it that way, is better, at least, because it filters it out. It makes the people that want to do that one place, the people that don't in the other,
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I have these this sort of way that I imagine romance working. But yeah, I can see what you guys are saying, though.
I mean, if it works for people, if it's a sure thing that works for somebody, and if it really, pulls it off. I mean, they say a picture is worth, 1,000 words or something.
Yep.
And, maybe, those are all the right words to describe that person, and maybe that does reflect off their personality. I mean, you can't always judge a book by its cover, and sure enough, a picture on a website can always be the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, well. It is what it is. All right, this next story comes to us from South Africa. And I had to do this story because I've seen a lot of people on our campus that skateboard, year-round, regardless of the weather. And I wanted to share this story with them because this totally seems like something a few of them actually would do. Man faces arrest for speeding at 68 miles an hour on a skateboard. That is amazing. Yeah. A professional skateboarder is potentially facing jail time after uploading a video that purports to show him skating at an astounding 68 miles an hour through the middle of traffic. South African skater Desio Lorenco faces the charges after Cape Town city officials say his high-speed skating actually triggered a speed camera. The speed limit in the town Lorenco was skating through is reportedly 37 miles an hour. All that was needed was for one of those motorists to panic and swerve into oncoming traffic, and you have a large number of deaths, as we have already had on that road, safety spokesman Jean-Pierre Smith told the New York Daily News. If we don't take action against him, every other aspirant skateboarder will try it, and one of them will come to a sticky end. It's hard to argue that the stunt was dangerous and reckless, particularly with oncoming traffic in the opposite lane. But Lorenco is a professional, and Kloof Neck, the road he speeds down, has been used for professional skateboarding events in the past. In addition, his YouTube video of the stunt, titled Spoofing the Traffic Camera Longboarding Without Limits, does include disclaimers discouraging others from attempting to recreate his feat, which has already been viewed more than 600,000 times since it was posted on January 26th. However, as Reuters points out, the past skateboarding events hosted on Kloof Neck have always taken place when all other traffic was closed off the street and local traffic laws prohibit skateboarders on public roads. For his part, Lorenco, age 24, says he does not understand where all the negative attention is coming from. I've been skating down hills from a young age, often going much faster than that, he said in an interview with IOL News. This is the first time I've gotten any attention for it. That doesn't really help your case, sir. You basically just admitted that you've done this countless times before, and they're probably going to arrest you for that as well now. You're dead silent. You have nothing to add to that, do you?
I have something to add. I mean, yes, he's been doing it for a while, but that's what makes him a professional. If he's a professional guy and he's been going down these roads as fast or faster as he's presumed. I mean, it might sound like it's a little bit against the law, but like, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing, and obviously he knows the risks that he's taking. And, you know, if somebody's a professional, I like to say if you're a professional killer, go out and do what you want and not get in trouble. I'm just saying that if you're somebody in his field and you're a professional what you do, I mean, you're taking your own life and you know what you're getting your hands into. It's like if you see people do parkour or free running, they know what they have to go through. People get hurt and injured in some, not everyone. Only a couple of people have probably died, but that's because it's lack of preparation, or maybe it was the wrong kind of jump, or it was something that either they couldn't control or it wasn't prepared for.
Well, the problem is those drivers aren't professional. You're driving down the road and you see someone come flying at you 60 miles per hour down the road. How are you going to respond as a driver? You know, and that's where the danger comes in. Is that it's not just endangering yourself. I am fine with whatever you want to do to endanger yourself, but you do not endanger other people. That's where my limits are, and that's where laws come in, is to protect other people, not necessarily to protect yourself other than from other people. You know, it's not going to be like, oh, you can't do this because it's dangerous for you. That's why we have most of the laws we have, is because you start at a certain point when you do things, you endanger other people.
But where's the fun in that?
Jeez. Lucid.
I know. I only joke, you guys. I only joke. Be safe. I don't condone hurting yourself or anybody else. Please be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been one thing if the roads were closed off, but no, not when there's traffic. All right, I think we got time for one more story. I've saved my favorite story this week for last because I saw this story and I laughed. I laughed so hard. In prisons, prison guards are really strict about smuggling. Like they are very thorough. They make sure that no one brings anything in. This guy tried to smuggle something, and the way he got caught, I got nothing. It's legitimately some of the funniest stuff I've seen in some time. Sri Lankan prisoner hides smuggled cell phone in butt, foiled when device rings.
No.
Yup.
No.
Yup. And also, I want to find Meredith Bennett Smith of the Huffington Post, a writer for the Huffington Post. She wrote this article. I want to find her and give her a hug because she gives us the best opening line I've ever seen in a news article. World's most unfortunate butt dial.
No.
Yes.
No. So ironic, but no.
If you want to hear a better version of that story, just watch Man on Fire.
Oh, no.
It's a great movie, actually, but it has a story in it that reminded me of that.
All right.
You guys are killing me.
A prisoner at a Willakada jail in Colombo, Sri Lanka, got in trouble this week after he attempted to hide a smuggled cell phone in his rectum. The agency France Press reports that the 58-year-old convict had concealed the phone, along with a hands-free headset, in his body cavity. The items were discovered when the prison guards heard a suspicious ringing. Guards knew he had a phone at the wrong end, an unidentified guard told the AFP. An X-ray taken of the prisoner in a local hospital reveals the phone and headset in all their glory. No word on what happened to the phone in question. And I wish that this was a live video feed instead of a radio station, because this picture is you can clearly see in stark detail the phone and the headset. You can see the buttons carefully laid out. You can see the earpiece of the headset. And you know, I do not get why people would do stuff like that. Why they try to smuggle stuff in their butt. Because the first thing that they do when you get to a prison is they check to make sure you're not smuggling anything in. You know? All you've done is you have filled your fanny pack to capacity and ensured that Your farts will never make a sound ever again. Oh dear. Well, that's about all the time we have for the show this evening. Before we sign out for the evening, 8-Bit, I believe you have one more song to play us out.
Yeah, this song's from the game Streets of Sim City. If you ever played it, you drive around in a car just shooting machine guns out your car like, to blow up other cars. It's just like a car battle racing game. But it's another love song that exists in it that's a comedy song that's just a joke.
All right. So we're gonna play that one out, and closing out. We're gonna close out for the evening. Be sure to log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Nerd Herd Show. Check out our recorded shows and all of 8-Bit stuff at youtube.com/The End of It. And this is Awkward Agent, 8-Bit Gamer, and Lucid Sheets, and we will be signing off.
Take care, lovelies.